Many businesses, think of a large or a small company, say, have many people doing many different tasks. There's a framework that had originated in economics due to Eric Brynjolfsson, Tom Mitchell, and Daniel Rock for analyzing the work tasks for possible automation using AI. And this framework turns out to be useful not just for economists to understand the financial or economic impact of AI, but also for businesses to identify specific opportunities to use generative AI. Let's take a look at how to do this. Whereas there's been a lot of discussion, for example, in the media about will AI automate jobs, it turns out that from a technical and business perspective, it's more useful to think of AI not as automating jobs, but as automating tasks. And it turns out most jobs involve a collection of many tasks. Let's look at an example. A customer service representative will do a number of different tasks, including maybe answer inbound phone calls from customers, answer customer chat queries via text rather than a voice or a phone interface. They may check status of customer orders, keep records of interactions, and assess the accuracy of customer complaints. And if you work in a company with, say, many customer service representatives, the first step to analyzing the potential for using generative AI would be to understand for your business what are the tasks that the representatives in your company do. After that, we can then take a look at these different tasks and try to assess their potential for generative AI to either help or augment or to automate these tasks. For example, for generative AI to pick up the phone and have a long conversation, that's still pretty difficult. So we assess that to be a lower potential opportunity. But answering text chat with customers, that might have a higher potential. Maybe checking status of customer orders is medium, whereas keeping records of customer interactions could be high, and assessing accuracy of customer complaints may be low. All of these examples in the rightmost column are hypothetical, and the actual impact on your business will be different and will depend on the specifics of your business. But after an analysis like this, and I'll go in a little bit into the specifics of how to carry out this analysis, you might then decide that answering customer chat queries and keeping records of customer interactions have the highest potential, and therefore focus your efforts on those two tasks. Now, the opportunity for generative AI could be either augmentation or automation. By augmentation, I mean we can use AI to help a human with a task. In the customer service representative context, we might have generative AI recommend a response for a customer service agent to edit or approve, but not fully automate the sending of a message back to the customer. So if we're not sure yet if the generative AI will give good answers, then recommending a response could speed up the people doing the work, but not fully automated. And this would be an example of augmentation. And automation would be if we have an AI system fully automatically perform a task. So if we were to automatically transcribe and summarize records of customer interactions, that could be an example of automation. What I see in many applications is that businesses will sometimes start with augmentation to maybe let a human double check or finalize the output before this use. But then as you gain trust and gain confidence in the output of the generative AI, then the user interface can be adapted to make the process more and more efficient for humans, and to then gradually shift toward higher and higher degrees of augmentation, and perhaps eventually to full automation. Now, given a list of tasks like this, how do you come up with this column on the right? How do you evaluate the different tasks for generative AI potential? The potential for augmenting or automating a task depends mostly on two things: technical feasibility and business value. So technical feasibility refers to, can AI do it? And also, how costly is it to build an AI system to do it? And with regard to using an LLM, I found the framework we discussed last week of asking, can a fresh college graduate following the instructions in the prompt complete the task? That could give you a first guess, an imperfect, not necessarily fully accurate guess, but it gives you a way to think about whether a certain task may be doable or not. And sometimes, if you're not sure if an LLM can do a certain task, I would encourage you to try prompting an LLM to see if you can get the LLM to do that task. And this would be an experiment that you might be able to do quite quickly, so long as you're not revealing confidential information. if you take some prompts for, say, answering customer chat queries and paste them into a large language model, you can maybe quickly get a sense of how good RS response is. And this could help you relatively quickly assess technical feasibility of using generative AI for a particular task. And an AI engineer can also help you assess if more advanced techniques like RAG, retrieve augmented generation, fine-tuning, or other techniques can help. And also give you a sense of perhaps the complexity and therefore the cost of building an AI system to tackle a certain task. In this course, I'm focusing mainly on technical feasibility using generative AI technology. If you or your team is familiar with other AI tools, such as supervised learning, you can also assess the technical feasibility of using other tools as well for augmenting or automating different tasks. Other than technical feasibility, the second criteria I urge you to think through is the business value. So how valuable is it to use AI to either augment or automate a particular task? And so the questions I would ask to frame up my thinking on business value would be things like, how much time is spent on this task? So how much time savings can we actually realize? Second, I'd also ask, does doing this task significantly faster, cheaper, or more consistently using AI create substantial value? While it may seem like augmentation and automation helps lead to cost savings, we'll see later this week as well that when you automate a task, sometimes the benefits are much greater than just cost savings, because it also leads to rethinking the workflow around that task. But if what I'm saying doesn't make sense yet, don't worry about it. We'll see some specific examples of this later this week. Before wrapping up this video, there's one more resource I want to share that may be useful for your analysis of how to break job roles down into tasks, which is that there are online occupation databases that you can look up to see what are the tasks that comprise a certain role. Here's a screenshot from a website called ONET, which is a US government-funded website that for the customer service representative role lists lots of different tasks, including confer with customers by telephone or in person, keep records of customer interactions, and so on. I found that occupation databases like this tend to be general and not necessarily specific to your company. And so I wouldn't recommend just using the results from, say, this ONET database and assuming it's accurate for your company. There'll usually be some entries there that you read and feel like, no, this doesn't seem like it applies to my company. But I found that this is a useful resource to take a look at just for ideas and to help make sure that maybe you haven't missed anything when thinking through what are the tasks done by people in different job roles in your company. ONET is a little bit US centric, but it has a nice, easy to use user interface. So I encourage you to play with it. And there are some other countries as well that have some other country or region specific databases that you may be able to find online as well. But I found that for many job roles, ONET is maybe a reasonable initial starting point. So that's how you can look at different job roles and start to break them down into tasks and analyze the individual tasks for potential for augmentation or automation. And I hope you play with the ONET website and get a feel for what different tasks in different job roles look like. In this video, we went through the customer service representative example. I'd like to go through with you a few examples of other job roles as well. So let's go take a look at that in the next video.